You might notice it's a little bit dark in here. As I said in my last video, the sun is not on my side. It's been a hectic week, but first let's chat about Folktale Week. It was one of the goals for this month. It's my first time and I thought I'd share my experience and learnings with you lot. If you don't know what Folktale Week, I did explain it in my last video, but I will put the video clip in here. If you've seen it already, I'll put a timestamp on this video so you can just skip ahead. It's an Instagram art challenge by a group of artists, illustrators, and it usually happens in the middle of November every year. It runs for 1 week. There are no rules. You just share how you interpretate the 7 prompts that are given. Everybody from any genre or materials are welcome. Some people actually make their own stories up, whilst others actually base it on existing folk tales. Unlike Inktober, where you ideally need to ink it on the day to create that daily practice, you can prepare this way in advance. As soon as you hear the prompts, I think it's like a month before, and start illustrating it and literally just show up on the day. I'll put a link below so you can check it out on Instagram. With that being said, let's share how the story developed. I've been going through a creative journey. I was really lost in the beginning, and I have indeed found some things that helped me figure out my voice. So that's what I wanted this story to be about. And when I was explaining this to my brother, I randomly used the character a mushroom, like trying to find its superpowers, as an analogy. And I thought, yeah, I'll just go with that. Why not? So if you haven't seen it on Instagram yet, it's about a little mushroom who feels really lost and no one can seem to give it the answer it's looking for. It tries many different things, it goes to different places, but still no answer. So one day, instead of being suggested a method, the little mushroom actually got a response which made it think about things differently, and through that it realizes the key to finding its superpower. And here are the things that I found useful when completing this challenge. It's actually extracted from my Inktober challenge, which I've carried through, but I've also learnt something new as well. First things first, thumbnails. Get that down, get that draft down, get that script down. The second thing I found useful, limiting my paper size. Yes, and materials. This time I tried to play with charcoal, pencils and watercolour. Some ink did get in there, but I tried something different. I also tried using colours, and I knew I had to limit that colour palette as well. Originally I was going for like autumnal colours like brown, red, yellow, blacks, and I really wanted it to have like a gradual change and the last image to have like this brighter area feeling. But there was a C prompt and I didn't think this through before. I was like, what colour should the C be? And I had to choose green, but because this was introduced like quite earlier on and some of the images that I made were quite dark without any green, it didn't really turn out the way I wanted it to. So, which leads me to what I would do differently in the next challenge, and that is to really play with my colour palette. And to be honest, I think I knew I should have played with my colour palette before, but I just didn't have enough time, which means that next time I should just allow myself more time. Another thing that I would do differently is to actually write out the captions that goes with the post. Now, these images were intended to tell a story like a picture book, but I wasn't sure about the caption yet. In my thumbnails, I just wrote down the dialogue and hoped for the best. But it actually took me a little bit longer than I thought, and it might have saved me even more time in the long run, because when I was doing that I found in prompt 5, which was underground, this was the original image I wanted to create for it. I'm just fascinated by like nature and anything in nature that glows. Like the next prompt after underground was illusion, and I chose the magic mushroom for it. the ghost mushroom only appears after dark, like when it's really dark. So how would you be able to see the magic mushroom afterwards? It just didn't make sense. So I had to change it. I changed it to a truffle, going to the underground to see a truffle. And I think I did research the truffle before, but come on, this is just so much more fun to draw. Anyway, had to change it in the end. Look, I had so much fun creating the story, researching nature, actually coming up with character designs, playing with compositions, and the story resonates with me so much. I'm definitely going to be creating like a picture book scene just to see how it looks like. I wanna start actually laying text over it, like what is the feel of it? Watch this space. Other than Folktale Week, I hosted another sketching cafe. It's our 5th one. Speaking of meeting like really nice people, an illustrator also invited me to hang out during my lunch break at work, and that was completely like unplanned, unexpected. I literally came home that day thinking, what an amazing week. Coincidentally was also the day of Quentin Blake Centre's launch of National Illustration Day. So I got down, started to plan. I decided to make a Instagram carousel explaining why illustration is so important to me. I had lots of fun, and I found because of speed, I had to just whip out my iPad and actually do it digitally. I guess that's another thing that I'm thinking about, like digital iPads versus traditional. Like this takes time, whereas like with digital illustration, I find myself like doing things a lot quicker and a bit more braver as well, because I know that I can redo it. Something that I need to look into in the future. On that note, I'm going to leave you to it. Otherwise, this video is gonna never end. I really hope this week has been treating you well. Remember to stay true to yourself, and see you in the next one. Goodbye!